So as promised, I'm just gonna take a second. I'm gonna go through my whole turkey hunting setup, show you what some of the different calls sound like. We'll go from there. This is what I'll be using tomorrow. This is my Remington 870 Express. It's pump action 12 gauge. And in it, I have a Jeb's Remington, a Primos Jellyhead 12 gauge turkey choke. And this chokes down to 0.665. So this is a really, really tight pattern. I've killed birds, you know, probably the farthest I would ever comfortably shoot at a turkey would be 40 yards, and I've patterned this gun effectively out to about 50. It's a really good choke. Every choke, every shotgun round patterns differently within your gun, so I would strongly recommend testing a couple of different ones out before, just try different things, try different combinations. The ammunition I found that works best out of that gun and choke combination is the Heavy Shot Magnum blend. This is a, see right there. This is an older box of shells. I don't know if they still make this stuff or not. They have not killed the turkey out of this box, but that's what they look like. So what I do every year before I ever put a shell in my gun, just look at them, make sure there's no rust on the brass. If there is, that's not a big deal. If there's too much, it can cause jamming. Open it up, make sure your safety is engaged, and just load it. And then I know it's loaded, so release the slide just to make sure that everything is fitting tight, moving right. That's my first thing. Let's talk about what I'm going to use to get out to my setup. So this is a Sitka pack. I got this on Mountain Archery. It's a great website to find discount deals on nice stuff. I actually still have a pad in there from when I was bow hunting. But you know, as you can see, lots of space. This thing is basically to be filled up with water and coffee. It's supposed to be really hot this weekend, so I shouldn't really need to pack too much for extra clothes. I like that because it's got a ton of storage on the sides. In these side pockets, there's a ton of space in there, so I can put my calls in there, and then I can set this on the ground next to me, and I don't have to mess around with the main stuff, with the main pouches. So I really, really like this pack. It's a great pack for like day hunting, if you're doing, you know, just one day sits for deer or whatever. Turkeys, it's a great little blind bag, and when you have it loaded properly, it'll actually sit up straight, so it doesn't take up a whole bunch of space in the blind. So clothing, we're gonna be wearing our First Light Catalyst pants. These are probably gonna be warmer than I need, but I probably won't put anything under them. I really like them. They're super comfy. They're really easy to move in. I hunted some really, really thick public land this year in these pants. Briars, burls, whatever it is, cockspur, whatever you have in your area that sticks to stuff, it just sheds right off this. They're water repellent in case we get rained on, so they might be a little warm for tomorrow, but I'm not super worried about that because I probably won't have anything else with them, and they're lined, so they will wick moisture and sweat really, really well. Got a pair of just really light camo gloves. I like to have something over my hands when I'm turkey hunting. Even like tomorrow, I'm gonna be sitting in a blind. I like to have something over my hands. It just covers up, you know, any glinting, glaring, Plus, if there's heavy mosquitoes, I don't expect that to be the situation, but if you have heavy biting insects around or a heavy hatch of biting insects around, these will keep them off your hands, and they'll keep your hands from getting itchy. First Light beanie, I don't know. It's the Furnace in an XL. This is probably going to be pretty warm. I probably won't have this on too much tomorrow, but I'm going to bring it with just in case. And then I've got a First Light Klamath hoodie. It is the quarter zip. I like this one a lot too. It's merino, so it will wick moisture away. I won't need anything else with it. And I like that it's got such a dark pattern because that's really nice for where I'm going to be in some mixed shade inside the blind. So there's going to be a lot of different light. And the blinds that the landowners set up for me are pretty old. So they actually let a lot of light in through the top, which is why I'm not wearing all black. Because if you're in a blind that's well maintained, that doesn't let a lot of light in, you want to be in all black. This blind is old. The guy's probably been using it for 30 or 40 years. So it lets a lot of light in through the top, which is why I'm going with a camel pattern. And that's why I like the First Light stuff with that really, really heavy dark color in there. These are alpaca wool socks. I'll probably wear these out to the field with nothing more than some flip-flops because the landowner is very, very gracious. He's gonna let us borrow a side-by-side tomorrow so we can get into the blind. So that's clothing. We'll get to calls at the end. I'll show you those at the very, very end. Vortex Ranger 1800 rangefinder. I bought this a little while ago. The rangefinder I had before was a Nikon, but it didn't have the angle compensation. And so this is my go-to now for everything. I haven't had a chance to actually use it on turkeys yet, so I'm really excited. But these things are so clear. Their warranty is awesome. You cannot go wrong with a Vortex. So decoys. I've got a Strutter Jake. This is kind of nice because this beard can be pulled in to be out and stubby, or you can let it hang and it gives it a little more length, makes it look like a little more of a tom. I do not do fanning. It doesn't matter if I'm going to be on private or public land. I think that fanning is a really good way to get yourself shot. I know guys love it, and I have nothing against it. It's just not my style of hunting. But it does have this really nice grip in the back where I could potentially fan with it if I needed to. So all of these decoys are very inexpensive. They were purchased at Walmart. I've killed I believe 3 turkeys I've killed over these, and last year was the first year I didn't get one. And before that I killed I think 4. So I've got 7 under my belt. Remember, I'm very, very new to hunting. I started when I was in my early 20s. So to go that long and not kill a bird last year kind of broke my heart a little bit. So I made sure that I was going to get out this year. I've got 2 hen decoys that I'm going to take with me as well. I like these because they're super light. The stakes for them fold up and they fit right inside here. So it's one less thing for me to carry around, one less thing for me to lose track of. And then this one, the position she's in, you can put this flat on the ground to look like a lay down, or you can prop it up a little bit to look like a feeding hen. So I like having a little bit of versatility there. This one, you can set upright. So what I like to do is in the morning, I like to have the upright hen. looking like she's gonna walk out into a field, and I'll show you this all tomorrow, but I like to have the upright hen looking like she's gonna walk into a field. I like to have this one a little further out than her, like she's feeding. And then I like to have this guy looking like he's approaching the two hens. That seems to always get a reaction from a tom. Early on in the season, I wouldn't set it up that way. Early in the season, I would set it up where it looked like the tom was already in with the turkeys and he was a new dominant tom in the area. What I'm trying to kill now is a turkey that's already been breeding a bunch and he's just looking for more hens. So in the afternoon, this guy will likely go away and we'll probably just run one hen, either a feeder or an upright, just kind of depending on what we see. And that'll look like a lone hen who's either lost her group or she's out looking around for somebody to party with. So that's Decoy's close, bag, shooting system. So now, I'll show you the different types of calls, and I'll show you kind of what they sound like. All I'm going to show you right now are yelps, because that's all you need to be able to do is make a yelp. You don't need to be able to cut, you don't need to be able to purr, you don't need to be able to cluck. All you need to do to kill a tom, especially if you're brand new, is just be able to yelp. This is a box call I actually built for my wife. It's bloodwood on top, cherry on the sides, and then it's a walnut base. These are easy to build, they're fun to build. You can see the chalk on the bottom and chalk on the edge of the box. So all you do, you can hold it this way, you can hold it this way, you can hold it up here like this. I prefer to hold it like this because I can dampen, or I can use my hands to dampen the sound, or I can use my hands to let more sound out. But all you do is you take this paddle and you just the more pressure you apply, the louder it's going to get. Very, very simple to operate. If you're new to turkey calling, don't try to use a diaphragm, use a box call. It will be so much more rewarding for you to kill a turkey with yelping on a box call than it will be to get frustrated with a diaphragm call. The other call, it's really easy to use, is a pot call. This is another call that I built. You can get these kits on, I believe it's Shepler's Outdoors is where I got these. So this is a leopard wood base, and then it's got a glass, you won't be able to see it, but it's got a glass soundboard, and then a anodized aluminum face. So all you're gonna do with this, and I've got two different strikers for this one. This is the one I built. It's all walnut. All you're gonna do with this is you're gonna come to the edge of the call and you're gonna find a spot where it sounds good. So this might take me a minute, but what I'm doing is I'm taking the edge of the striker and I'm putting it at an angle to the call. And I'm making a very small circle, this is exaggerated, but I'm making a very small circle against the aluminum to get that sound. Now, if I want to get more aggressive, I can use a bigger circle or more pressure. Very simple to use again. Does not take a lot of practice to be able to yelp on this. Again, this and the box call are gonna be your best bets if you're new to turkey hunting. Aluminum is a really, really hard surface. So different strikers are gonna sound different. So this is an ash striker. This is gonna be a little bit harder than the walnut. So I'll show you why I carry 2 strikers. That's already louder, and that's part because this is a shorter striker, so there's less vibration. The vibration has to travel less. There's less mass to this, so it's not going to dampen or be as loud as, or as soft as, excuse me. It's not going to be as soft as the walnut. The other reason it's different is because this is a harder wood. So you can get 2 different sounds with these. So here's the walnut. Little raspier. Here's the ash. Little different. If I see a tom, I'm calling to him on this, I can't get a response, I can move to my other striker and get a different note and see if I can get a different response with a different striker. So I'll carry these 2 strikers with me. The downside to having all this stuff built out of wood is that if it gets wet, it can be really hard to get it to work right. That's one thing I really like about the aluminum is that oil from your fingers won't mess it up like it will on slate. And I like aluminum because it's a little bit louder than glass. In the last couple of spots I've hunted, I haven't had turkeys in real close, so I've needed to get really loud. But that's what I have the box call for. I can be really quiet on this. If I don't need the loud pot call. It brings me to the final thing you can use to call. These are diaphragm calls. These can be notoriously tricky to use. I don't sound very good on them. I don't sound great, but if I was not gonna be in a blind, if I was just gonna be sitting up against a tree, these can be nice to have because you don't need to use your hands. And if you have a tom that's hung up at 60 yards and you're trying to get him just, 10 yards or 20 yards closer, it can be nice to not have the movement from your hands. What I've got here are, this is a group of different calls, and they're all shaped a little different, they're all cut a little different. So the way you call on these is you want this tab, the back of your throat, and you want to press this call up into the roof of your mouth, and you want this sealed as tight as you can get it on the inside of your mouth up against the roof. So I actually really like this green call. And all you're doing is you're pushing air, and that air, it's kind of hard to see, but that air makes this stuff all vibrate. So as I said, different calls sound different. So this is the loudest call I've ever blown in my life. I will not use this call tomorrow. I might use this call if I was coyote hunting, and I wanted to sound like a dying hen, maybe. Very loud. Part of the reason it's so loud because this call has a plastic frame in there, and that really helps project sound. Not my favorite, not my style of calling. Some guys might like it. If you're hunting huge tracts of public land and you're just trying to get something to gobble off, this might be a good way to go, but I will not need this tomorrow. Famous last words. I can almost guarantee I won't need this tomorrow. And then the orange call. All I'm doing is situating that call in my mouth and my tongue to get a really good seal. It's okay. I've got stuff that makes that sound. I've got stuff that makes that sound in that tone. Box call. One nice thing about having a call in your mouth and a call in your hand is that you can do this. And I can make a dialogue between my mouth call and my decoys. I have somebody coming with me tomorrow, so I won't need to do all that. But that's what I got going on. Hopefully tomorrow you guys will get to see me shoot a turkey. If not tomorrow, Sunday. If not, you'll at least be along for the ride. I'll show you how I set my decoys up. I'll show you where the blind is positioned and why it's positioned that way. So until then, good luck. Take somebody new hunting, and we'll see you later.